Hello, San Francisco. We're here in sunny Las Vegas studios, Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. We're chilling here. We just got done watching and not watching. Actually, no, we all watched it. We're professionals here. We watched the Thursday night football game. But I'm just here to tell you what we're talking about. What are we talking about today? We're talking about this week's matchups. We went over a Thursday night game. When I say we, I mean me. I went over it.
Good job.
I did so good. Everybody messaged me and was like, "Wow, that the most average of bros."
I don't even need to check because I just know you made all the right calls.
Yeah, exactly. I did. I said start everybody.
You're like start Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah,
He's
basically.
he's the best.
He's the best.
So in this episode is episode 20 of season 2. What we're gonna do is talk about the matchups coming up on Sunday, and then right before that, we're gonna go over what happened in this Thursday night game. We're gonna give a little recap. Let me give you the games we're gonna go over in this episode. If you don't hear the game you want to hear about, it's gonna be in the next one. That's gonna be episode 21, matchups part 2. So in this episode, we're gonna go. We got the Packers in Green Bay against the Broncos. We got Eagles in Philadelphia against the Lions. Chiefs in Kansas City against the Ravens. Bills against the Bengals in Buffalo. We got Indianapolis against the Falcons. Vikings in Minnesota against the Raiders. Patriots in New England against the Jets. So if you didn't hear that, go on to the next episode. All that info is going to be there. All right?
I didn't even hear it all.
You didn't?
No, I zoned out like halfway.
Oh, cool. Wow. What a great guy I am. I'm so boring that my co-host got bored of me. Anyways, what do you guys think about that game? I said in the last episode that this could be a punt fest.
I'm trying to look it up.
It was kind of a punt fest.
A punt fest?
It actually made me a little bit nervous because I think Gardner Minshew threw 2 touchdowns in his first 2 possessions.
Yeah, it was like 14-0, like quick.
Yeah, in the first quarter. So I really thought it was going to be, I was like, oh shit, this is going to be the one high-scoring game between the Titans and the Jaguars, but ended up not being.
I think every time they play, it's like a under 30-point game.
Yeah, I mean, the over-under was only 38, and they were underneath that. But I said that I was expecting it to be a low-scoring game. Yeah. Leonard Fournette, everybody was pretty interesting. Leonard Fournette had negative yards until the fourth quarter, which was pretty interesting.
that one run of like 50, 60 yards.
Yeah, pretty wild.
But besides that, yeah, he was like...
He should have had a fucking touchdown, pussy.
Yeah, he really did. Like, what was that one? Was it Jay Ajayi when he came off the field? He's like, man, they got to lower my speed on Madden. Do you remember that?
No.
There's some. I think it was Jay Ajayi because he had like he had the end zone right there and he fucking got tackled. I think it was right when he got traded to the Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right after he came off the field, he was like, man, they're gonna slow your rating on Madden.
He said that.
So yeah, he was like all worried about it because he got tackled. So that's what it looked like. Leonard Fournette totally got fucking tackled in the. Right before the end zone. I thought he was going to run for a touchdown. That would have been nice. But in PPR format, he ended up with like 15 points, so you weren't disappointed. You probably were pretty nervous. He got more than half of those points in one play at the end. How do you feel about Leonard Fournette?
As of right now, he kind of reminds me of the guy on the other side of the ball, but he catches it. It's like
Derrick Henry.
It's like if they don't
look exactly alike.
It like
big guys.
Speed wise, they're big dudes, fast, like elusiveness. They're not the most elusive, but they're gonna get the carries. If they get in the end zone, like you're happy that week. But I think the difference is, like I said, I mean, Derrick Henry's been breaking more of those runs, but Fournette actually gets some catches. So it's like Derrick Henry. How many games does he have like 14 for 20 yards and then he breaks a 70-yard run? Right. It's like I was thinking about on the way home. I was like, they're kind of like the same player, except Derrick Henry's been getting these 1-yard touchdowns over and over, and Fournette's been getting these catches.
Dude, there was this one play where Derrick Henry he caught the ball and he fucking fumbled it out of bounds, and then you see he fumbled it out of bounds like right to his team, and then he looks at the coach, he throws his helmet down, and then he looks up, he's like, "What happened?" It's like, dude, you fucking dropped it. So it was one of those moments where I laughed out loud about myself watching the game.
Wait, what do you do? You fumble it out of bounds?
Yeah, I mean, like he caught. I mean, I think they considered it incomplete pass, but I mean, he caught it and turned around, and then the ball ended up out of bounds. So
it was like,
and then he was right in front of his coach too, and so he just was like, he looked at his coach and he threw his helmet down, and like you could sometimes read their lips what they're saying, and it looked like he just threw his helmet down. He's like, what happened? That third and down syndrome Eli Manning moment. It's pretty funny.
There's no more Eli Manning.
No more Eli.
now.
Sir Jones. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I could say, like, I text you guys, like, it looked like he just didn't look very good as a runner. Like I told you, he lacks like elusiveness. It was a lot of times where, yeah, he's getting hit behind the line right away, but for a guy being that big and that strong, you think he'd be able to buck some people, stiff arm some people.
I mean,
there's
he did it
plenty of
before.
times where like a DB came up and just took him down right by the legs, and. It was just crazy to see because, like I said, you think of this big guy who's a bruiser who just, pretty much sheds tacklers at will, and it didn't seem like that at all. And I don't know if maybe we're just sleeping on the Titans' front seven. I mean, pretty good front seven. I mean, they did limit Marlon Mack last week after, he had a huge week one. That second week, he didn't really do much on 20 carries. And then even that first week, Chubb, nothing really crazy either, from a rushing standpoint on the stat box. So maybe... this Titans line is going to be a tougher match for running backs going forward. Like Anthony touched on here, the only thing is that, he is getting the passing work volume. And I know you touched on it in draft season, saying he could probably get like 50 to 60 catches. And I think that's obviously looking really good. 6+ targets in all 3 games so far.
He's got 14 catches, I think, through 3 games.
Yeah.
Oh, who, Fournette?
Yeah.
He had 6 today. And
He's at 14.
4 and 4, yeah. So
Yeah.
4 and 6.
Yeah.
So I think that puts him over 60.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I know it was raining too. I don't know if that had anything to do with it on both sides of the ball. I mean, even Derrick Henry wasn't efficient on it from his end too. He got in the end zone, which kind of helped him. So I don't know if I didn't watch the game, but I don't know if it was a tough field to run on. These are big guys who they need to get going. I feel like they're not guys to make people miss in the backfield. And you look at both of them, and they were both had a rough day on the ground.
Right.
And then, to the point of Tyler said, the Titans D has been shutting run games down too. So kind of, I think it was a little bit weather, short week, just maybe a tough field to run on this week, and then 2 good front sevens
For sure.
on both ends.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. A wide receiver standpoint, I mean, we kind of touched on, maybe DJ Chark is the guy. Another long touchdown here. I mean, him and Minshew. Is it Minshew? Minshew. Okay, Minshew. It seems like they have a rapport there. We touched on that. We said, who was he, practicing with in OTAs and training camp? There's obviously a receiver he's going to feel more comfortable with. And it does seem like it's Chark. Although D.D. Westbrook, I think, led the team in targets, and he actually dropped Minshew threw a dime pass, and it literally went right through D.D.'s arms, or else he would have had like a 30, 40-yard touchdown pass as well.
I think it also is like in DJ Chark's. It's so weird saying his name, but his favorite too is that he just isn't getting covered by certain corners. I feel like Westbrook is Westbrook, and they still have Marquise Lee there.
Yeah.
Get kind of these corner actions, so I feel like that leaves DJ Chark open a little bit more.
He's just making these, in what it reminded me of is what I think we want Devontae Parker to be as Dolphin fans, this big body guy who can just go up and get these 50-50 balls. That's literally what Chark is doing. It's he's just throwing the ball up, and it's one-on-one, and it's he's given the receiver an opportunity to make a play, and Chark is coming down with the ball. I mean, obviously 3 straight games with a receiving touchdown. I mean, he's looking like a solid flex wide receiver 3 guy.
Yeah.
Wide receiver 2 upside, each and every week.
If you had Delaney Walker on the Titan side of the ball, you were kind of panicking until the last drive. I think he had 3 or 4 receptions on that last drive. That's pretty crazy.
It's funny how that happens sometimes.
Well, you know what I noticed too is they were behind. So obviously I feel like Jaguars started playing prevent defense, so they started lining everybody in the back, and then you leave that middle of the field open. So I feel like a lot of times you just dump to your tight end for first downs and run out of bounds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I texted my buddy. I was like, I was hoping that would happen, and that's exactly what happened. So that was kind of cool because I have Delaney in the FFPC league. Anyways, anything else you want to touch on? Anything else you want to touch on, Tyler?
Just these Titan wide receivers. I don't think any of them are startable.
No.
I wouldn't even have them on my team. It's just because it all comes down to Marcus Mariota. It's a run first team that has a pretty good defense, subpar quarterback play. I mean, they're already talking about Tannehill time, and it's only the third week of the season. So, I mean, that was kind of one of my bold predictions. I think Tannehill eventually takes over this job.
Yeah, I would say
once
so
that
too.
happens, then maybe I'll reevaluate the receivers because Corey Davis is a talented player. I just think that he gets
Mariota
kind of hampered by Mariota.
Yeah, he gets Mariota.
Yeah.
Dude, it is crazy. Like Mariota, just sometimes I'm watching him play. And I think the only reason that they feel obligated to keep him in is just because they drafted him so high. He was like second overall pick, right?
Could be. I mean, same
In
thing
the
with Jameis
2015.
Winston, I guess, with the Bucks.
Yeah, it's like they spent so much draft capital, they feel obligated. But I think you just eventually got to say goodbye.
Well, what about Derrick Henry? I mean, just any quick thoughts on him?
I mean, he's getting the volume. Like you see a couple plays like Deion Lewis. I feel like he just looks better. I know he's a different type of running back, but I don't know. Like if I was the Titans,
I mean, he's going to get the ball inside the 5. I think he's probably got, like 2 or 3 1-yard touchdowns already?
Who, Lewis?
No, Henry.
Oh, yeah, I think he has 2. I know he has 1.
He at least
had
2.
one
He
today.
might have 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's a good standard play. I mean, even in PPR, he's been actually pretty decent. He's not getting the catches, but he's been scoring every week. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like, I don't think he's good, but it's fantasy, so it's like you have to like separate. Do you think they're a good like
Right.
running back, or is it good for fantasy?
My thing is that I feel like he has dud games, and this is why like I avoided him before in the draft and stuff, is because if you have Deion Lewis on your team, you're gonna feel obligated because the volume he's getting. You're gonna feel obligated to start him every week, and he's just not giving you the numbers, or he'll have dud games. You know what I mean? Like I even feel better playing Leonard Fournette than Derrick Henry.
Yeah, so they're kind of like the same player. Just
I
one
guess.
catches the ball,
Yeah.
and one scored some more.
Anything else you got, Tyler?
The Jacksonville Jag, like
Their defense.
Yeah, I feel like people were sleeping on them. I told you this too, before we got on the air. Like they played the first week against the Chiefs, who are probably the best offense in the league, and then the next week, they played against the Texans without AJ Bouye, or I think he got hurt midway through the game. Who's one of their best corners, Pro Bowl corner. And, they pretty much limited that offense to only 13 points, whatever it was. So, I mean, 2 really good offenses. And that's why they struggled. I mean, they still got a lot of talent on that front 7. And, they kind of showed you why they called Saxonville 9 sacks tonight. So, I picked them up in 2 leagues. They were on the waiver wire. And I was like, I mean, this is a pick that people are spending like a 10th round pick on,
Yeah, for sure.
And people are already dropping them. It's just like, I don't know. Don't overreact.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah, definitely. So matchups. Let's get it started, boys. Matchups part 1. Let's start with the Green Bay Packers are playing in Green Bay. They're favored -7.5 to the Denver Broncos. The Broncos almost beat the Bears, and then the Bears actually had a kicker, Eddie Panera Bread, went and scored, got like a 53-yard field goal. He ended up winning the game for them in the last seconds. So if you like Joe Flacco, sorry.
You like Panera Bread?
If you like Panera Bread, you like fucking Panera Bread, bro.
I don't know why I'm laughing at that.
Yeah, you're like slap happy. You work too hard, dude. Let's talk about the Green Bay side of things. I feel like I feel like you're playing Aaron Rodgers no matter what.
Yeah, for sure. You're dialing up Aaron Rodgers. I mean, the Broncos' defense has actually been underperforming, I think. Like I said, it's early, I guess, so don't overreact, but they haven't really been putting up anything. I actually saw a crazy stat right now, too, saying they have Von Miller and Bradley Chubb, but they've produced the least, like the 32nd ranked, like pass rush, which is
Right.
weird because you think I got Von Miller and you got Bradley Chubb. These are 2 of the best, edge rushers in the league. For them to be the very worst.
More like Von Chiller
Chiller.
because he's been chilling, not doing anything.
I mean, they've only given up 189 yards through the air the first 2 games, so it's not like their pass defense is underperforming.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what quarterbacks some teams have, but I feel like you can get away from Aaron Rodgers. So yeah, in my opinion, it's been a few big plays with
they
him.
played Mitchell Trubisky. You know what I mean? That's like half of their stats this year.
It was week 1.
It's Trubisky
Week 2.
in Derek Carr. I mean,
Carr was like 19 for 20.
yeah. So just think he was all those yards and he's not very good. And then Trubisky, he's worse than that.
It's in Mile High. I don't know who some teams drafted, but I mean Rodgers is still a top 10 play. I'm trying to think offhand if there's some people I'd start off him, but I haven't looked very much. I think it's actually another tough matchup for him. I don't see him with 300 plus 3 like the Aaron Rodgers we know. I think he's more. I don't know if he's still adjusting to the new system a little bit. If the receivers are adjusting a little bit. I mean, Aaron Jones had a pretty big game too, so it's they're becoming a little bit more balanced now. They're not so pass heavy. Aaron Rodgers 50 throws. They're kind of more of a balanced team. So I kind of think it's just an average game for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
but I'm not benching him. Like I said, let's have another good play.
Yeah.
I'm just not expecting an elite play out of Aaron Rodgers.
Maybe if you had Josh Allen play him, I would play Josh Allen against the Bengals maybe.
I think I would do that too.
Yeah, over Aaron Rodgers in this matchup maybe.
I don't think I think my point again is I don't think Aaron Rodgers is an auto start anymore.
No.
I think for years, like, I don't know, 8 years, 9 years, whatever it was, he was pretty much an auto start every week, every defense.
Yeah.
I think at some point last year, and going into this year, as of right now, I don't think Rodgers is an auto start anymore.
I probably would agree with that too. You see that in the offseason they made defensive moves versus where they just put all their efforts towards offense, getting these big time players.
Yeah, and that defense is good.
Yeah, defense has gotten good. Yeah, I wouldn't mind streaming them. But let's move on to the running back side of things. I guess Aaron Jones, and they keep saying LaFleur, right? He keeps saying that he wants to get him split carries and stuff. Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams. What?
I was thinking if you played that drop right after you said that, that would have been perfect.
What? What drop? What are you talking about, dude? I don't have any drops ready at all.
All right. Well,
continue talking. How do you feel if you have Aaron Jones right now? Bro, you can't just stare at me. You got to fucking talk. I'll throw it in, guy.
I feel like Matt LaFleur doesn't know what he's talking about.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why everyone in Green Bay side is so fucking stupid.
I mean, in a sense, it was like a not necessarily I don't call it a breakout game because I think Aaron Jones was kind of broken out a little bit last year, but it was a game where it's like, all right, this is why you drafted him in the 3rd round. This is why you took him. This is the upside of a top 5, top 8 running back, and you kind of saw it last week. And if you have Aaron Jones, you're excited at that point. Like, okay, cool, I have a top 5, top 8 type of running back, and then the coach comes out and is like, yeah, we want to get this Jamal Williams guy some more carries.
Frustrating.
And it's just like, bro, really?
Yeah.
Why are you so fucking stupid?
What? Yeah, exactly.
He's about to be a real roamery in the offseason if he fucking keeps giving Jamal Williams more carries.
I think you're gonna start Aaron Jones. I wouldn't start Jamal Williams though.
Yeah, I think you still start Aaron Jones. I don't know if this is just coach speak to try and I don't know, I guess give Jamal Williams some confidence or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be a lot. There's a lot to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe they don't. I don't think the coach wants to give Aaron Jones 80-90% of the touches, and maybe that's a good thing because he's been, he hasn't been the most healthiest of backs in his short career so far. So maybe having him at the 70% range, where he was last week, and kind of, maybe keeping him healthy and keeping him explosive. Like I've kind of said before in him, he's like that Kamara type carry on where he doesn't need necessarily 25 rushes like Fournette and Henry do. He only needs maybe 15 to break his plays and his 3-4 catches to do the damage. So.
Right.
And as long as he stays at the goal line back, that's what counts.
Yeah. Besides running backs, tight ends, are you playing Jimmy Graham?
I mean, he put up a goose egg, I think, last week, didn't he?
Goose.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't scrambling to the waiver wire to pick up Jimmy Graham in the past couple weeks. But yeah, I mean, Broncos, if I'm going off of some old stats, Broncos give up some points to tight ends for the most part. I think one of Jason Witten's biggest games before he retired 2 years ago. Obviously, there's a couple different signings in between that time, but Jason Witten had one of his biggest games. He had 2 touchdowns against the Broncos.
Yeah.
Because I played Austin Hooper instead of him. So in that sense, maybe, but there's probably a better option.
I mean, if I had him, maybe check your waiver wire. Like we touched on the waiver wire episode, like Mark Andrews, Darren Waller, Greg
Jason
Olsen,
Witten.
those guys are there. Jason Witten, he's got a good matchup too this week. Like I'd probably feel more comfortable playing those guys. It's almost like Jimmy Graham. If he doesn't get in the end zone, then he's the ceiling is capped. You know, he's not going to watch him go do it now. Every time we say like he's not going to do it, they always like hold my beer.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But he's not going to go out there and get you like 80 to 100 yards, off 5, 6, 7 catches. So I feel like if he doesn't get in the end zone, then he's going to put up kind of like a stinker game. This might not be that high of a scoring game either. 43 points.
Green Bay's more of a defensive team.
Yeah, you know what I'm
nowadays.
saying. And it's like I know we touched on Rodgers. You know, I don't hate the matchup for Rodgers here, but it's like they might not need to throw the ball a ton here. You know,
Right.
Maybe just enough points to kind of pack it up, get this win, and get out of here. Because I can't imagine the Broncos putting up a bunch of points on the road at Lambeau against a better Green Bay defense.
Sure. Receivers, you're obviously playing Devontae Adams. They switched it up. It was MVS show week 1, then week 2. Geronimo Allison came in with the tug. I think he had only like 2 or 3 receptions though. One of them being the touchdown. How do you feel with those other receivers there?
I'm not starting either.
Me neither.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
One thing for me though is I saw a couple people like in one of my leagues actually. Someone dropped MVS already, and like I said, it's too early to be dropping people. I know that week 1 he had a better game, and Geronimo didn't, and then this last week Geronimo catches the touchdown. But snap percentage wise, MVS played 87% of the snaps compared to Geronimo Allison. He only played 45% of the snaps. This week, too, Geronimo is probably going to see a lot of Chris Harris Jr. He's one of the better slot corners in the NFL. That's where Geronimo lines up mainly. So I wouldn't be surprised to see an MVS deep touchdown or a deep pass, 50, 60 yards this game right here. I would be holding MVS. I wouldn't be selling on him. Like he was there in the waiver wire, and I jumped and I grabbed him right away.
I mean, I would say if anything were to happen to Devontae Adams, MVS would be the next main target there.
I just think these first 3 games for Green Bay are a little bit better defenses. You got the Bears, the Vikings, and now the Broncos. Still pretty decent defense. Wait till we get to a game where it's like a shootout. I mean, imagine if it was like a Mahomes-Rodgers game.
Right.
You're thinking like, oh man, the points. I want every share in that kind of game I get possible. So just be patient with it. Like I said, if the matchup comes up and you get a juicy matchup where it's going to be a shootout back and forth, then that's a game where I'm dialing up MVS. Especially if you get like deep touchdown bonuses and stuff like that. So
For sure. Green Bay defense. I'm streaming Green Bay's defense.
Yeah, I like it. I was trying to grab them in a couple leagues, but they were gone by the time I got there.
Yeah, Green Bay. I don't mind it. The Joe Flacco. I always end up looking at the quarterback on the other side, but I could see him making some errors, as baseball fans would say. Go to the Broncos side of the ball. You playing Joe Flacco?
Definitely not.
Against
Start
this
him out?
defense? No. Okay. We'll move on from there. What do we got? Philip Lindsay show, Royce Freeman. What do you guys think? You playing any of these guys? It's hard for me on some of these backfields because I completely avoided them. So it's hard for me to even look at them and be like, oh, because it's not even an option for me.
Yeah. I don't know on that one. It's like they're pretty much splitting 50-50 right now. They're both getting passing game looks. So I think if you're starting them, at least if you have that one of them in a PPR format, they're still getting the targets. I think they had 5 targets each last week.
Yeah.
They've literally been splitting like 50-50. I think Lindsey had the better week 1. Royce Freeman had the better game last week. I mean, if I'm starting them, I'm probably pretty desperate at running back.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like you said, they're splitting 50-50 here. I mean, I think they're both good running backs. And, like, if they were to get the volume and, like, the 15 to 20 touches a week, they would produce. And we saw that last year with Philip Lindsay. Royce Freeman, he was hurt. He was supposed to be the guy. And then it's like now Philip Lindsay came in because he got hurt and kind of stole the shine. I feel like everyone just kind of wrote Royce Freeman off, forgetting that he's still there.
I mean, he was a stud in Oregon.
Yeah.
He was one of my favorite backs when I watched I liked him and Darius Geis outside of Barkley. Those are the 2 backs I liked last year.
Yeah, and
Right.
you did the research on it. He can catch the ball.
Yeah.
It's not like he can't catch the ball. Like
Not like Ronald Jones. That's why I didn't like. He was a rookie. I was like off of. I was like, dude, Ronald Jones can't catch.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, granted, Philip Lindsay's a better pass catcher, but it's not like, hey, when you throw Royce Freeman in there, like the opportunity to throw him a pass is out the window, compared to where some of these other backs, they don't really catch the ball. Just some numbers on them, though. Like, they are splitting 50-50, but it seems like when they get into the red zone or even inside the 10, they're giving Freeman the ball more. 9 snaps inside the 10-yard line for Royce Freeman compared to only 4 for Philip Lindsay when they get inside the 10. So he's kind of more of like the bigger bruiser back. And I actually saw some stats where they were saying he like a yards per carry and even like a yards per catch basis so far, he's actually doing better than Philip Lindsay right now. He'd actually be a guy, like, if you can get him on the low for, I don't know, because I feel like no one really is playing him. No one even really cares about him. Yeah. If you can go out and get him just to have him on my bench, like for the depth, or, like I said, Lindsay's not a big guy. If he gets hurt and then now Freeman gets the ball 15 to 20 carries, I mean, you could be looking at a top 15 guy here just off the pure volume that he's getting week to week. Yeah, sneaky buy low, sneaky guy to get if you could get him.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, too, if Philip Lindsay doesn't even get hurt and he goes to a 70-30 or 60-40. They drafted Royce Freeman. He was like a third-round or second-round pick, I forget.
Yeah.
Philip Lindsay was a, undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
They have no ties to him. They have no investment in him. They could basically just say, all right, it's a new coaching regime, too. So they could say, well, you were good last year with the other guys, but we're a whole new regime. We don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So
NFL's ruthless like that. Let's go on the tight end side of things. Noah Fant, I think, is our guy.
Andre's about to drink some beers.
Noah not.
The end of this year.
Yeah. Oh, wait. What was his beer bet?
I think it was top 12 or 15.
Noah Fant?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not even close.
Okay. Let's not have him back on, you know what I mean?
He's good for the rookies. But the rookies and the trade rapes, there he is. Bring him on.
All right. What about our receivers on the Broncos side? Emmanuel Sanders actually looks like kind of the guy I thought coming off this Achilles injury, he might not be as good, but he seems pretty decent. He's held his own there. Joe Flacco seems to really throwing it to him.
Yeah, I mean, one of our former man crushes here. I've been hearing it on different podcasts and articles on that. They're just saying how amazing it is for him to tear his Achilles and be at 32 years old, 33, whatever it is, and for him
just
to
murdering it,
just to pick up right where he left off. New quarterback, it's amazing.
He's his go-to target, and on top of that, Emmanuel Sanders leads the. I know you posted a stat with it's different, but kind of funny because it's where Cortland Sutton was targeted X amount of times in the red zone. It was different coaching staff, different quarterback, but Manny Sanders has 7 red zone targets through 2 games. He leads the league in red zone targets.
Yeah,
and Joe Flacco already they have a bromance. Yeah. They didn't live together, but in a past life they might have.
Yeah,
because Emmanuel Sanders comes out and says oh, Flacco's the best quarterback I've played with since blah blah and then Flacco comes out and says this about him.
Flacco won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not.
Because that fucking unibrow's intimidating.
Dude, I mean, yeah, dude, the Angels can win the pennant, dude.
Yeah, the Angels could win the pennant.
But yeah, I mean, Manny Sanders at this point, you got to at least consider him as a wide receiver, too. I mean, he might even be a top 15 play the rest of the season.
Broncos win that division.
I mean, I know you touched on it. I don't think we did an episode on it, but we were just maybe talking in the kitchen or whatever, hanging out. But you were talking about how Flacco has a tendency to. I think I was asking do you think Cortland Sutton takes over? And you're well, actually no. He tends to lean on the veteran guys more than the younger guys because he knows he can trust them. And you see it unfolding.
Yeah, it was he over the years it's been Anquan Bolden veteran, Steve Smith veteran, even John Brown. John Brown's been he was a veteran last year. He was 28. The rest of the guys were young, so he kind of just leans on the veteran receivers. I don't know if it's they're maybe. I don't want to say smarter, but they've been in the league longer, so you can trust them to be in places and timing routes and stuff like that. And I mean, I don't play quarterback in the NFL, but I'm guessing that has something to do with it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, a guy's not going to make rookie mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Defenses. Are you playing Broncos defense?
Yeah,
I'm not starting them.
No, I'm not going to either. All right, let's move on to the Eagles. Playing in Philadelphia against the Detroit Lions. Eagles are favored by 6 points. The over-under is 45.5. We'll start on the Eagles side of things. What do you guys think? Sorry.
Well, I mean, Carson Wentz, he's pretty much a set it and forget it every week when he has his weapons to his disposal. I know Deshaun Jackson's going to be out for 2 weeks with the abdominal strain, I think it is, or some of the groin. I'm not sure what's up with Alshon Jeffrey yet. I don't think he's practiced, and I think he's trending in the wrong direction of playing. So the receivers are going to be Nelson Aguilar and J.J. Arcega-White, and then obviously you got Zach Ertz.
I'm going to go with the Nelson Aguilar if I'm going with one of these guys, but yeah, Carson Wentz, set it, forget it.
He takes a hit. I mean, it's tough to find if you have a better option than Wentz. You know, you might actually there might be some like higher upside guys there, but it'd be tough to bench Wentz if you had him.
Yeah, no, for sure. But so on the running back side of things, you want to go to there?
To the Eagles.
Yeah,
To the Eagles.
To the
Eagles,
Eagles.
one of the 6 running backs. Which one do you want to talk about? Miles Sanders seems like he's been getting more.
It's like he's like one of those
Share.
guys where it's like, I kind of hope he has one more bad week, and I think I'm going to try and buy him after that.
Yeah,
Sounds fucked up, but it's
Yeah.
like he's like getting the work. He's getting like important, like he's getting more goal line work. He looks good. He's had like big plays called back on penalties too. So it's like he could have. I was watching the highlights that week 1. He had like a 30-yard run, like called back on holding.
Yeah.
So he's having these big plays. It's just it all hasn't been put together yet. And I think like he's a rookie. It does take time for them to kind of like get things going sometimes. But I think if he has another slow week or even just the average week, I think you can go up and buy him. And I think he's one of those backs that's going to come along week 5, 6, 7, like some rookies do every year, and just start taking off. So he's someone I'm probably not starting as of now.
are you keeping your eye on him?
But I'm keeping my eye on him, and I might try and buy him cheap if I can.
Yeah, because I think Miles Sanders was getting drafted like the 5th round.
He was like 7th
Oh, really?
on average, yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I think he was like 6th, 7th according to like, calculator or whatever
Right.
it is. But actual home drafts, it was like more like 7th round,
Yeah,
even 8th.
I don't know. For me, this was just a whole tricky situation going into the season, and I didn't want to deal with it. I think Miles Sanders is a good running back, and it's almost like the Corey Davis scenario where like he's a talented player, but maybe the system or the amount of workload, the amount of targets, whatever you want to call it, they're just not getting it. Compared to a guy like Derrick Henry or even Fournette this last game, like they're not really efficient with their yards per carry, but like they're getting so much volume and they're getting those opportunities to score. This is why I faded this backfield completely 100%. I do think, like you said, Miles Sanders could break out. This is just a mess, and this is why I avoided it altogether.
right. I think we.
Because now you feel obligated to play it like Miles Sanders or like a
Right
Jordan
now?
Howard. I mean,
I don't think I don't think you're obligated. He wasn't drafted that high. It's like people's RB3,
I mean,
4.
people were drafting him in like the 5th, 6th round. At that point, you know, if you went wide receiver heavy, maybe tight end quarterback, he could have been he could be your 2nd or 3rd running back, and maybe you're throwing him in there. Maybe you had a Tevin Coleman at that point too. Now he's hurt, so now you're forced to throw him in there. It's just an ugly situation. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
As Estancia would say, gross.
Gross. I forgot about that one. The tight end, you're playing Zach Ertz, I think. You drafted him high enough. You're going to play him.
Yeah, set it,
Yeah.
forget it every week.
Yeah. What about big old Goddard?
I think he's hurt.
Did Goddard's hurt, so for sure don't play him, dude.
He's hurt too, Goddard.
He was injured. I don't know his like.
If
status
he's out, you gotta think if Goddard's out, Alshon Jeffrey's out, and Deshaun Jackson's out, the Wentz has to take a significant amount of hit to, I'm starting to like. What's the line in this game? 6. I'm starting to like the line's plus 6 here.
Right?
Check it out. Write that down.
In Philly. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about the receivers on the Eagles side. I know we kind of touched on them, but what do you think? You got Nelson Aguilar, J.J. Arcega-White. I picked up Nelson Aguilar in a couple of leagues. The reason why is because he's kind of been like proven in that offense. I feel like I feel like if I was Carson Wentz, I would go towards him more.
Yeah, I think
That's just my
he's an
opinion.
okay flex in PPR. I know we and Tyler had him in a league last year. He was like 8 for 45, 7 for 52 like every week. So in a PPR format, he's fine.
I think he'll have a safe floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the amount of volume.
Standard, I'd probably stay away from flexing him in a standard just based off
Yeah.
it's the same offense, same quarterback. Zach Ertz is there still. There, Sega Whiteside was was a decent showing in preseason. Maybe if Jeffrey's there too, he takes a hit as well, especially for any kind of red zone upside. So he's more of a PPR type of flex, safe floor. Like you just don't want to get burnt. Let's just say in a situation where you're like, I like my team, I feel solid, I just don't want to go out there and throw a goose egg in the flex or goose egg with a certain receiver. Like you could throw him in there and feel confident about it.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. Are you playing JJ Arcega White?
Negative. I'm waiting and see with that.
Yeah, I think it's somebody you could throw and stash on your bench based on like how these injuries are going to go. But yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. You playing Eagles defense?
I wouldn't. At first, I looked at it, I was like, yeah, I'm not mad against that. But now, like, really, like looking at some of the matchups, I don't like it. I think there'd be better options you could get.
Sure. Let's go to the Detroit side of the ball. Are you playing your streaming option from week 1, Matthew Stafford? Tyler, are you playing him?
It's a good matchup.
I mean, honestly, thinking at this matchup right here, I probably would lean Stafford more than Wentz here, just because the Eagles' front seven is good. I know their run defense has been super stingy, only giving up 2.9 yards per carry and 0 touchdowns allowed on the ground. So you can't run on the Eagles, but what you can do is you can throw on them. The Eagles have given up the most points to outside wide receivers over the last 3 years. So this bodes well for like Marvin Jones, Kenny Golladay, guys like that. Even maybe Hawkinson, you line them up on the outside. So I think actually Stafford, I think he's top 10 play this week.
Would you start Stafford or Aaron Rodgers?
I think Stafford. That's
Whoa!
I'd say the same too. That's why I asked it.
Because I think we touched on how I don't think that Aaron Rodgers is going to have to do the most to get a win out of there. So maybe he only throws the ball 30 times, But where this game could be more of a shootout back and forth, and where he has to throw the ball 40, 45 times, kind of keep pace with the Eagles. But what the fuck do I know?
You know everything, Tyler.
I don't.
You know everything. You say that, and then Sunday you just win everything, except for when you play me.
Yes, my name is Ramses. I'm the best.
Can we talk about that really quick? I beat you.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, that's all we need to say. Okay.
So you did, Sleeper Bot said Antonio Brown sending
I seen that.
menacing messages.
Yeah, I said. Okay, so real quick, we'll do breaking news. Breaking news. Boo, 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 boo.
Why is Antonio Brown so fucking stupid?
Yeah, freaking. I guess Antonio Brown is. I was reading this update. I think we all got updated at the same time.
Do you want to save it for the Patriots game or just keep it going?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about it when we talk about the Patriots.
Should we just go to that game?
But we're still on the line.
Just finish the lines. I mean, Stafford. You like Stafford too, right?
Yeah, like him over Aaron Rodgers.
You think top 10 play?
10, 12, yeah.
Yeah, in there.
Yeah, I got to look at but yeah, he's someone I look to see if I could pick up to stream, but
Sure.
Looks like I'm rolling with Winston.
I
or
mean,
Dalton.
yeah, like let's say if you have like Big Ben or
That piece of shit.
or Drew Brees, and he's out there. You mean you're definitely going to grab him?
Yeah,
to-
it's a
to-
good
to
matchup.
dial
This is a
him
good
up
week to pick
insane,
him up.
for sure. So just some of the news with the Lions though, they cut running back C.J. Anderson. He got cut again, like this 5th team in the last year or something like that. So now it's just Kerryon Johnson and Ty Johnson.
Yeah. Do you hear they're thinking about signing Eddie Lacy? I'm just kidding.
So we want one fat running back. We want a fatter one.
So there's
I don't think C.J. Anderson's fat, but C.J. Anderson looks fat in the field.
He does. He does look fat. That's why I said
And
it.
Eddie Lacy used to look double as fat.
Yeah.
Tyler would be like, he's not that fat. It's like, he'd be in denial. Like, bro, he is fat as fuck.
I think some people are talking about Ty Johnson. I just like it better for Kerryon Johnson. I think that just makes me think that they like Kerryon more after cutting C.J. Anderson. But that's just my opinion. Or
I think what it does is, I don't know if his workload actually changes, but I think the one thing that is certain now is I think I don't want to guarantee it because you never know in fantasy football. I'd say he's the goal line back now for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's what it does is it just raises his goal line stock. I don't know if his role actually goes up too much with the loss of C.J. Anderson.
Are you talking about Kerryon or?
Oh yeah, I said with the loss. Yeah, I'm talking about Kerryon, but
Yeah,
with Kerryon's
sure. Okay. I just wanna make sure.
workload with the loss of C.J. Anderson, it could take a small uptick, but I think they kind of. I don't think they envisioned him as like a 20+ running carry running back. He's even said himself like I'm not. He's like I'm not a workhorse back. He straight up said, like, so for him to say that, like, he's not gonna. If you come out and say I'm not this, the team's not gonna make you that. But he is an efficient back. He's an explosive player.
Right.
I just think what it does is it locks in that goal line situation, which that was the worry. If there was anything stopping Kerryon from having a top 12 season, top 15, it was that C.J. Anderson vulture 6 touchdowns on a mediocre offense. Now, if he takes, 4 of those 6 and maybe 2 go to Ty Johnson still, and he's a 9-10 touchdown guy, he's a top 12 back, 15 back.
I have a question. Why do we call T.Y. Hilton? Oh, I guess there's dots in his name, huh? Never
There's
mind.
periods.
There's periods.
Decimals,
I must have
dots, and
decimals.
periods.
Okay, let's jump over to the.
If you have a deep bench, so grab Ty Johnson. Like, if you're like a deeper league, just it doesn't hurt to have him as a speculative ad. And Kerryon Johnson hasn't been the symbol of health as well, like over his career, even back to college. So
you never know. So, all right, so you're definitely not starting the Lions defense here. Next matchup.
Do we talk about the receivers at all?
Yeah, I kind of touched on them. I mean, how do you guys feel about it?
you start Galladay.
Yeah.
The Eagles get, like I said, they give the most points to outside wide receivers, so that's a good scenario for them. And they're passing wise, they've given up like the most passing yards and the second most passing touchdowns so far this year. They're just secondary. Their secondary is just one of the worst in the league.
How about?
I need Ramses.
Would you start Marvin Jones?
Yeah, I'd start Marvin
I think
Jones.
he's a good. If you're in a 3 wide receiver, I think he's a good third wide receiver in that. Like,
Yeah.
I think right now we're still fresh. People still have a lot of I want to say good 1 and 2 combos at receiver. You could probably get away from him, but if you're like in a 3 wide receiver league, it's like I think he's a
Right.
good wide receiver 3 right there. With the matchup,
For sure.
TJ Hawk.
T.J. Hawkinson. Hawkinson, I still have faith in him. I mean, I think you could play him. Would you play him?
I mean, in a game where I said I think they're gonna have to throw the ball because you can't really run on them. Yeah, I think he's a good. I'd
good
rather play
matchup.
him over like
Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham. Yeah.
What about Noah Fant?
Yeah.
He's top 15,
who?
dude.
Would you start OJ Howard or TJ Hawkinson? That's like a tricky one.
Yeah,
Noah
I'd
Fant
probably
or-
go Hawkinson just because you don't want to get goosed again.
Noah
He almost
Fant
got
or
goose
no,
last
I'm
week.
not.
You don't get goosed.
It's pretty close.
Um,
I think I'd lean Hawkinson. I think
what about Emerdoda?
no,
No.
maybe PPR.
PPR, yeah, he's a
Like 3
PPR,
wide
yeah.
receiver, like we said, kind of with what was the guy in the Eagles?
Aguilar.
Aguilar. It's like he's not gonna give you a goose.
Right. It's funny when we give these definites. We always are like going back on it. Anyways, yeah, defense not doing that.
Fuck you, Matt Prater.
Let's go on to the Kansas
Sorry,
City
Matt
Chiefs.
Prater got me 1 point last week. I got 0 points from
Dude,
Matt Bryant week 1.
Can we talk about the
1
fact-
point for Matt Prater? I have 2 points for my kicker in 2 weeks.
Dude, can we talk about? I'm the same way. I had Adam Vinatieri, and I went through him. Dude, I haven't had any good kickers. I did play somebody who's not in the league, so that doesn't help. But I haven't had one. I don't think I've had one kicker in any. I'm in 7 leagues. I don't think I've had one kicker over 5 points. Anyways, and I don't have the same kicker in any leagues.
Yeah, I mix it up because they're so unpredictable. I try not to have the same kicker.
Yeah, because if you have the same kicker in all the leagues and they all dud,
Because,
it's
I had
the worst.
I had Matt Bryant in 3 of them. I was like, motherfucker.
You're like, we're switching it up. Andrew Grosas. What else? We got? Eddie Panero. Okay, Panera. Kansas City Chiefs playing in Kansas City. Home game for the big old Chiefs. You ever seen that? Pretty cool.
It's definitely-
They're playing the Baltimore Ravens, the Lamar Jacksons,
It's Ravens.
Ravens. Oh, the Ravens.
Yeah.
Oh, they're playing the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore
Ravens.
Ravens. It's Chiefs are favored by 6 points. Its over under is a whopping 52. Wow, this is some of the points. Let's start on Kansas City Chiefs. You're playing Pat Mahomes, obviously. I don't really want us to talk about that because it's just obvious. You're playing Pat Mahomes.
Kelsey.
Kelsey's automatic start. Running back situation. It's a little sticky, huh?
Yeah, you're gonna have to watch the injury report.
Damian Williams questionable right now.
He hasn't practiced.
Yeah.
at all.
I feel like he's out.
He's been limping apparently at
Yeah.
practice.
I feel like he's out, and there's a chance McCoy plays. That's my feeling from what I how kind of I see injury reports. If you're not practicing by Thursday, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, no, for sure. You got to monitor that. Tomorrow, obviously, is if he can get at least a limited participation, it kind of give you some type of hope. But if he doesn't practice tomorrow, he's probably out. And then McCoy, he's kind of on the fence as well. I mean, like you said, it's trending that Damian Williams doesn't play. If that's the case, do you feel like it's okay to grab Darwin Thompson maybe and try to throw him in there, sneaky play, or?
I've kept him in one league because we have a deeper bench, and I picked him up in two. If both those guys are out, I'm starting him.
Oh yeah, if both of them out, then yeah, I think you got
If
a top
McCoy's
10
there,
running back there.
It's hard to say what they'll give McCoy because he is still a rookie. Reed said he needs to learn his pass blocking because it's a different thing when you're actually on the field. But he said to that extent, he was like, because I was reading this on the NFL app, he's like, if he can block, I'm not gonna basically said if he can go out there and block and do what he needs to do, and I have no problem keeping him on the field.
Yeah.
So with McCoy there, he's the veteran. He did get a holding call that cost Hardman a touchdown last week. So, I mean, maybe they keep him out there a little bit. But if McCoy's out there, I'm probably shying away from it because this is a tough matchup against the Ravens. It's not the best matchup for a running back. So I'm probably shying away from him. But if McCoy's out, I think you can fire up Darwin Thompson. I think he's going to be
But for sure, try and pick him up, I would say.
Yeah.
If you Darwin Thompson's there, I would for sure say pick him up.
Yeah, because Damian could be out another week for all we know, or maybe even two. And then McCoy already has that injury, so who knows if it flares up. And
Yeah.
I mean, he could be that running back where he gets a shot and it just takes off running with it. And, it's him and McCoy or him and Damian going forward, and he's kind of that, the starter in the committee.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, it's funny. I dropped him in a league, and then I was like, wait, come back. Picked him back up today, actually. Now, for the wide receiver side of things, with the Kansas City Chiefs, you still have Tyreek Hill is out of commission right now. You got Mecole Hardman, the rookie. You have Demarcus Robinson, Sammy Watkins. Who's your guy in this matchup?
If I had to rank him, Watkins, Robinson, Hardman.
I think I would do the same thing.
It's probably, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of just going off of
But you could start all three.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I'm looking at different receivers, like who do I want to play, whatever, I'm looking at who the ball is getting thrown by. And it's Pat Mahomes, I'm feeling way more confident.
Yeah.
Even Mecole Hardman hasn't really shown up recently. I still think it's worth it.
I mean, Watkins is going to be the target leader in this offense. I mean, he was week 1, was week 2. You got to figure week 3 he is, unless they try and take him away completely. But even if they try to, you can't because there's Kelsey. You got to respect Hardman's speed. You got to respect Robinson. I think the reason I lean Robinson over Hardman is Mahomes. He has a little bit more chemistry with Robinson. And he's even came out himself and said things about Robinson. And Mecole Hardman's still a rookie. He made some big plays, almost 2, one got called back. But like I said, he's still a rookie. There's a trust factor. There's the Andy Reid. The snap percentage for Robinson was a lot. I think it was 80 to 50 for Hardman. So it's kind of 1, 2, 3 in that order. But I don't blame you for starting any of them because any of those 3 could have 100 plus and a touchdown.
Yeah,
they're home run guys, so. They could either go out there and get you 100 yards touchdown, or they could get you. I mean, even Watkins, he had 13 targets and only 4 for 60 or something like that. Nothing crazy.
It was like 5 for 69.
So nothing crazy, right? So it's like you just never know. But even like you said, just all one play, boom, makes your day.
Sure. Chiefs defense.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not either. Ravens have been putting up some points. Everybody's talking about how good Lamar Jackson is, but I mean, they played the Dolphins and then they played a shitty secondary
and
with the Cardinals.
Shitty secondary right now.
What?
They played another shitty secondary.
Well, that's what I mean. Is like they're kind of having these awesome, amazing matchups.
I think this game's gonna be a letdown, low key.
For the Ravens?
No, just in general. I think this is that game where everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, it's fucking 55 to 50," and it's like Mahomes versus. It's like the script. Everyone like this. I feel like not always happens, but like. Good amount of time when the games get propped up like this, and it's just this. It ends up being like a 17-13 type of game.
You know how they say this is the game of the week or whatever. That's what they're definitely aiming towards, putting this as the game of the week.
Yeah.
They're interviewing Lamar Jackson the same way they interviewed Carson Wentz when he had like those first. Remember when Carson Wentz came into the league the first 3 weeks? They did an interview. You have the most purchased jersey in the league right now. How does that make you feel, Carson? So they're asking him all this stuff. So. they did an interview like that for Lamar. I agree. I think it might be not as.
I mean,
Cool,
it's saying
good to
that it
watch.
just feels like this could be.
I believe it. Let's. I think you're still dialing up Lamar Jackson though.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I want as
I
many
think he's
shares
the
as I
Ivan.
can.
Him, Marquise Brown, DeMar.
Okay, let me ask you a
Andrews,
question:
yeah.
Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen?
Lamar Jackson. Still probably a top 5 quarterback in this matchup.
Yeah,
Top 3.
top one.
Watch him and Mahomes both be outside the top 12. That's how fantasy football is.
It is
You'd be
so
like,
frustrating.
If you would have guessed that, what's the 2 rookie quarterbacks starting? What's the Steelers?
Oh, Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph, and what's the one from the Giants?
Oh, Daniel Jones.
If Mason Rudolph and Daniel Jones outscore Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, who would have thought? But shit like that happens.
No, you're right. You're not wrong. I could see that. Anyways, I'm Homer
just
pick.
saying,
Homer
it's
pick. Lamar Jackson, you're dialing him up. Like we said, Mark Ingram, Gus Edwards.
I mean, Mark Ingram's probably the only one
Yeah, Mark Ingram.
in a
Yeah.
standard.
I'm just
for
saying
sure.
names. I need some feedback. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Gus bus. That
No.
bus is parked.
Needs a new transmission.
I think what does Ingram have to do? Like 2 games, like 1 catch.
Mark Ingram's been good. I think he's back on PEDs, and I'm
he
not
was
mad
playing
at that.
Miami. Everyone's, I
that's
could be
true.
good against Miami.
That's so true. That's when we talk
Oh,
about.
no, I'm
Miami.
saying from like a target standpoint, he's just not catching the ball. Lamar Jackson in this scheme doesn't throw to the running back. That's why I like him more in a standard versus PPR.
Yeah, I think so. Mark Ingram just said it. You're setting it, forgetting it. Receivers: Marquise Brown. What else? That's about it, right? I think. I feel confident playing Marquise Brown, not as a wide receiver 1, but in a flex option.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he's like I said last week, the week 1, he barely played, only 14 snaps or something like that, or 14% of the snaps. And then the very next week, he was the most played wide receiver. He played the most snaps out of anyone there. So, and he's a playmaker. He's a quick guy. Like, you get him ball in space. Like you see, all it takes is he's got like that Odell slant. He can take it to the house type of speed and ability. So, in a game like this where it should be like you said, 52.0 runner, it should be a barn burner. Yeah, him. Definitely down him up.
Yeah,
He seems like a guy you could throw in there every single week almost, just with the upside of what he offers, you know?
right. He's kind of like a boom player. He does the way he plays is reminiscent of Tyreek Hill, in my opinion. I think. What about a tight end situation? Mark Andrews.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're all-
100 yards back-to-back game. Yeah.
He's tight end 1 last week. Pretty sure. All right, Ravens defense. How do you feel?
No. No,
With a
sorry.
52 over under.
Either
Me
one of
neither.
these defenses.
I'm not about it. All right, let's move on. We got the Buffalo Bills playing in Buffalo. Buffalo is favored by 6 points against the Cincinnati Bengals. Andy Dalton and his other ginger friends.
Interception.
Did you see that post I put of that guy texting about Andy Dalton
You told
last
me
week?
about it, yeah. Last episode you talked about it.
Oh, I did. I did? Yeah. What? Really?
Yeah.
I did? It was after this past game. What are you doing? Let's go Buffalo side of the ball. I like Josh Allen in this matchup. Josh Allen seems like to be doing pretty good. He rushes touchdowns. He's kind of like he's getting the same kind of numbers as like I feel like Cam Newton back in the day. Here's like maybe
Yeah, like a interesting stat I saw was since week 12, since week 12 on until this last week, he's the 3rd highest scoring quarterback on a points per game basis. So it goes Mahomes, Watson's, and then Josh Allen.
which is a low-key sneaky name. I picked him up in a couple leagues as my backup. I think I told you how I panicked. I didn't panic, but I just didn't pay attention to how many rounds were left, and it was 3 more rounds left, and I still needed a kicker, a defense, and a quarterback. So normally I go 2 quarterbacks. I fucked up, and I had like Kyler Murray as my only quarterback. So I was able to pick up Josh Allen. So if Josh Allen's there, for sure pick him up if he's still there.
If you had
I
like
don't know
Big
his
Ben,
percentage at all.
or Drew Brees went down for you, he's a guy you
Sure.
could go grab. Especially this is a good matchup right here. The Bengals are the worst team in regards of like tackling. I think they have the most missed tackles so far, and they give up the most rushing yards. So
That's what happens when you get rid of Vontez Burfict, dude. I mean, right?
Could be.
Anyways,
Tackling machine.
he make a guess, fall on ground. Running back situation. I think there's something going on with Devin Singletary.
Yeah, so he's got the hamstring injury. He hasn't practiced yet either, so just you have to monitor it to see what happens. Like I said, tomorrow will be like a telling day. I say tomorrow, meaning Friday. If he doesn't play, though, I'm dialing up Frank the Tank.
Yeah,
Just
Frank Gore.
the sheer fact that he'll probably get around 20 touches, 18, 20 touches. And like I just said, the Bengals' run defense is they're the worst in the NFL right now. I know it's only 2 weeks, but they're giving it up on the ground, and they have the most missed tackles, so maybe they are missing Burfict a little bit.
Yeah, they probably are.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at it right now with Frank the Tank. He's got the Cincinnati's been giving up 165 yards on the ground for the first 2 games.
That's a lot.
Are they going to play a Frank the Tank drop?
I don't have Frank the Tank drops. Frank the Tank.
Get better. That's what I was waiting for.
Dude, yeah.
What do you think? I just randomly gonna pull
Wait,
that
so
up?
you're saying that everyone's stupid for starting Frank Gore?
It's okay. I muted it on accident, so nobody heard it.
Yeah. I was like, trying to signal drop. I was like,
I know.
I should have just done. I
was like,
should
this
just
doesn't-
held up a sign that said Derrick Henry.
I'll get better, dude. All right. Well, it's hard when I'm fucking talking. I'm in the middle of everything. I
You need to
don't.
get a Frank the Tank drop.
I
So
need to
if he goes
fucking
off this
line-
week, we could be like Frank the Tank.
Okay. All right. I'll get it loaded.
But yeah,
up.
the Bengals have just been getting gas to the ground. I think they. I heard a stat on ESPN. They've given up 6, or something like they've given up like 4 top 15 running back finishes, and there's only been 2 weeks. It's so stupid like that.
Jesus.
That's
Like
not
even
bad.
like the backups are getting it in.
Yeah, the backups are getting in and against them. So Frank
Yeah, they're
Gore
getting
doesn't
it
really have a
in.
backup. So yeah, I like him this week.
He was available in 85% of leagues, like somewhere under 80, 85%. I mean, if he's out there, he said there's no Devin Singletary. The game script's perfect here.
He's gonna get 20 carries.
probably gonna see
red zone
20 carries. Even
He'll
if they're
get a
not
few catches
efficient.
too.
Yeah, even if they're not efficient, you're still 20 for 70,
Yeah,
and then a touchdown
and you get the 2 catches. You basically have a floor of a 10-point baseline.
for sure. Well, let's talk about the receivers right here. But your boy John Brown, he's been balling. I mean, I think he's a guy where you're starting him every single week off the sheer volume, the targets he's getting,
and the deep balls he gets thrown his way from
Yeah.
John Allen.
big
Josh
arm
Allen.
from Josh Allen.
Yeah, he's kind of set it forget at wide receiver too.
Yeah. Besides that, though, I mean, just probably know the receivers here. I know Cole Beasley's kind of had a couple decent games PPR wise, but he's
He had like if it wasn't for like 55-yard catch last week, it was basically a dud game for him.
yeah. And then tight end, I'm not even really sure who their tight end is.
Tommy Sweeney and Dawson Knox.
Exactly.
We're gonna start in those. So yeah, Bills defense.
Low key.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad
I'm not mad at
Mad
it.
at it.
We literally all said the exact
I'm
same
not mad
thing.
at it.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. Low key, dog.
Move on to the Bengals side. The Bangers.
Bangers. Are you playing Ginger McTurbo phase?
It's Carnage.
Yeah. Carnage.
He's a tough call because he's actually been pretty decent through the first 2 weeks. I think he's a top 8 quarterback or 9. He's a top 10.
Yeah, over 300 passing yards
Yeah.
in both games.
I think the reason he is interesting is because, I mean, I'm looking at Buffalo right now. They have been pretty tough against the pass, but it's 75% of their plays have been passing plays. That's what I'm talking about the Bengals.
The Bengals, yeah.
Yeah, they're just throwing the ball nonstop. It's like they're like basically I said Andy Dalton's not going to throw the ball 60 times this season, and he's like home of beer.
Home of beer.
But I kind of alluded to this like a week ago, and it was like I wonder if he's going to be like that Jameis Winston Fitzpatrick of the 2017, 2018, where he ends up going low key for like 4,500 yards and maybe 30 touchdowns because all they do is throw the ball, and they're in negative game scripts, and that line doesn't allow them to run, and Joe Mixon isn't super. Maybe he's not right for a few more weeks, and they don't even have AJ Green back yet. So he's kind of a tough call where it's like. I think he probably has a decent floor in this game because he'll throw so much, but I don't think the ceiling is super high in the matchup.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. He could be a sneaky guy going forward.
Yeah, no, he has a nice schedule.
Sorry.
Could be a nice guy going forward. Can you get the drops when we're not in mid episode? How about that?
What drop did you play?
Yeah. This guy's just Googling stuff over here. All of a sudden, she's like, oh shit, wrong one.
My cat.
Wrong one.
That's not. was doing. I was playing. Jesus. Okay.
My cat.
Okay, dude. No, that's not what I was doing.
Yeah, whatever, bro.
I'm
Anyway.
above the influence, dude. All right. What are we talking about?
I don't know because you're over there
We're talking about Andy
bullshitting.
Sorry. Won't happen again, boss.
Joe Mixon.
I mean, you're dialing Joe Mixon up.
I feel like you're
if
not
there,
benching him. It's
but I mean, here's a guy where I tried trading for Joe Mixon to Art the other day.
Yeah.
One of our boys, Art. I tried trading for Joe Mixon, trying to get him on the low because I think better days are ahead. You know, he's hurt that first game. Second week was a tough matchup, and then this week, and still kind of a tough matchup against the Bills front seven. But I think once AJ Green comes back, he'll be able to, that's only going to help him. It's another dynamic to the offense. But so I tried trading for him, and I offered him a couple guys. He sent me a counter offer. He wanted Devontae Adams for him, and I was like, I'm not trading
Jesus.
Devontae Adams for Joe Mixon. And his
when
logic was, well, I spent a first round draft pick on Joe Mixon, so I want a first round draft pick in return. And I told him, okay, well, you might have spent a first round draft pick on him, but I wouldn't have. I would have drafted him in the third round. And he was like, well, he wasn't falling to the third round. And I was like, this is why I don't have him on any of my teams.
Same here.
But I'm just saying, I would have given him a third round grade. And it's kind of, I know it's been rough sledding these first 2 weeks, but it's kind of like, this is why I didn't want to take a shot on him in the first round or even the second round, because you really want to make sure you hit on those first couple picks. That's like the anchor and like the foundation of your team. And he just wasn't a guy I trusted,
No.
in the early rounds.
Yeah, that is frustrating when people send you those. Like I had David Johnson, and the guy who took Devontae Adams in front of me tried to trade David Johnson for Devontae Adams straight up. And I'm like, so you just want to trade our picks? Like, no, dude. Mine's working out, and yours isn't.
Yeah.
So, like, what the fuck? You want to just trade all of a sudden?
Yeah.
I don't. I never understand that, but
What, you turned down that trade?
yeah.
You should have did that trade, dude.
No, you always chicken me, dude. But that's not. This fool asked me for a trade, and he said something, and he's like, wait, no, just kidding. But I know what he was thinking. He's like, oh, if I say no, just kidding, he's gonna think that I'm thinking, oh no, I don't want to do that trade. I changed my mind.
Yeah.
Because that's too good of a trade for him. But no, he's just trying to fuck with me.
But did you ever think that maybe I knew you would think that, so now I'm double fucking you, and like now
No
it's
trades
so
happen,
open?
so how are you fucking me?
Not yet.
You're stuck with your own team.
Seriously.
You lose.
I know where your phone's at, bitch. I'll go in there and hit accept.
Tyler's consistently changing his team. All right, what are we doing?
So for the receivers here, you got John Ross. A couple big games back to back. I know he did get bailed out on that late touchdown last week. Tyler Boyd, I feel like he's a set it and forget a guy with the amount of volume he's getting. It seems like he's getting 10 plus targets every single week. John Ross, though, just an interesting stat I saw here, because I feel like if you have him, he has been playing pretty good, so you're probably going to throw him in the lineup. But it was just saying like a majority of his production has come on these deep passes, and the Bills actually have the best deep ball pass defense over the last 2 years. So just kind of an interesting stat there. To maybe downgrade John Ross. I mean, for him, all it does is take one 60-yard, 50-yard, 40-yard touchdown, whatever it was, and kind of makes your day. But just, interesting to know that the Bills actually do have the best deep ball pass defense over the last 2 years.
Sure. I talked about it before. Do you see all these AJ Green talks? He was saying, I don't know who said this 6 to 8 weeks I'm going to be out for. It's going to be longer than that. AJ Green said this. And then you get a notification that he's out of the walking boot and he's actually running. So I think it's good for AJ Green. I think maybe he's just saying that or just to temper people's expectations of him.
Maybe he has himself in his fantasy team when he wants to be traded. He wants. He's like, oh, they'll drop me if I say that.
Maybe, yeah, so he doesn't
trade
have
for
him.
myself.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, maybe he's in like $1 million fantasy league and he's going to show up and win it.
It's not even a lot for him.
Maybe not. Yeah, so I just thought that was pretty interesting news.
All right, so Bengals defense, you're not starting them. Tight end wise, I know Eifert had a touchdown, but he's actually not playing the most snaps. I think he only played like 25-30% of the snaps.
And CJ, who's your mama?
Uzama was actually getting more run there. So we're staying away from this tight end area on this team right here. We'll jump into the next game, though, right here. Try to bank through these a little bit faster. But we got the Falcons. They're going to Indianapolis. They're going to play the Colts. Colts are -1.5 with a 47-point over-under. We'll start on the Colts side of the ball here. Jacoby Brissett, probably not. Like I touched on the waiver wire episode, like now that Andrew Luck's not there to throw the ball 50 times, they have kind of shifted to more of a run-heavy
Marlon Mack. I think Marlon Mack has the most carries besides Austin Eckler.
Yeah, with 20-plus carries back-to-back weeks. So that's good. You like to see it with Marlon Mack. But just be careful because he has a calf injury. I don't think he practiced yesterday or today. So just got to monitor that to see what's going on with it. If he doesn't play, I mean, Naheem Hines, he's the pass-catching kind of guy. And then Jordan Wilkins would be the next guy to step in. I mean, one stat I know that we probably all know here, though, is that the Falcons, they suck against pass-catching running backs. So you think if Marlon Mack doesn't play, would you be leaning more Jordan Wilkins or Naheem Hines?
I would lean Wilkins.
Wilkins?
So,
just for the sheer volume of he'll probably see 15 touches.
Yeah, he's
plus.
gonna get the groundwork, and he still catches the ball himself. He's not like just a 1-2 down back. He can catch the ball himself.
Yeah. Like
So
in one of my leagues, I have Mack. I went and grabbed Jordan Wilkins just in case, because if for some reason he doesn't play, I think I might just actually slide Wilkins in there. Like you said, the 15-plus touches, goal line work, couple catches here and there. Seems like a safe workload, a safe floor for him.
Yeah, I dropped Arcega Whiteside and I picked up Wilkins just to like cop block people.
Yeah,
in like one of my leagues.
If you're in a deep league, I think Hines. If Mack doesn't play, I think Hines could be a sneaky guy too. If you're in a super deep, multiple flex type of a league.
Yeah, 4-5, he's starting.
4-5, you're starting.
T.Y. Hilton.
He's the number one there, and it's not even close. They got Paris Campbell, Deion Kane, a couple other guys. Now when Funches went down, it's like he's the clear number one guy there, and he's seeing all the volume. The tight end wise though, you got Ebron and Jack Doyle. Like I said, I feel like they're touchdown dependent. 1 week Ebron had a touchdown, the other week he didn't. I mean, he's still a red zone guy. If you're weak at tight end, I guess it wouldn't hurt to grab him and throw him in there for the touchdown upside that he offers every
I guess
week.
in a standard. PPR, probably, even if he scores, it might be one catch he might get 7 points.
Do you think if Marlon Mack is out, that like Jack Doyle or Ebron become more involved?
Not necessarily. I think, like Tyler alluded to, it could be a little bit more Naheem Hines. And then I think the Colts lead the league in rushing percentage. I'll look that up right now. They're like they have that offensive line, so they're relying on their offensive line to kind of like give them rushing lanes and open up for the running game. So and Brissett's played good enough to like move the chains and score touchdowns. So
Right.
I don't think it necessarily changes so much of the offense because you can get out of both those backs in 2, which you get out of Mack in 1, if that makes sense.
Right.
You can get the receiving work with Hines, and you can
Yeah,
get the
yeah.
rushing kind of work with Wilkins.
I see
So
what
those
you're
2
saying.
players kind of make the one player.
You're making a lot of sense here, dude.
Colts defense. I mean, how you guys feel about that? I know there's like all-pro middle linebacker Darius Leonard. He's still dealing with a concussion, so he might not play. If he's out, that's a huge hit to this team right
Yeah,
here.
if you're considering him, if he's out, don't.
Yeah, probably some better options. Like you said, the Bills just kind of off
It's like,
the top
it's
of our
like
head
the
right
Colts.
there.
It's like the Bears losing Urlacher, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. Still the other side of the
That is
ball
twist.
here. You got Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, what's your thoughts on Matt Ryan right here? Because he up and down. He leads the league in interceptions right now, but I mean, his willingness to sling the rock with Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones. I mean, you like seeing that at least, right?
He is a guy.
I kind of think the interceptions might not go away, but the production's gonna always be there.
Like
I think
303 almost. With
Yeah.
that
With the picker too. I think that's just due to the line's not looking very good right now.
Yeah,
The offensive line is looking terrible.
couple injuries.
Yeah, and it's like he's like you said, he's not afraid to like take time though and throw it deep or throw it up or take a sack, and he has 2 probably. He might have the best 1-2 combo, and then you throw Sanu in there too, and the other pass catchers at the running back and tight end. He has weapons, so
Yeah.
I don't think the production's going anywhere. This defense doesn't look much better than it did last year, even though it was supposed to be better this year. So I think he's going to be fine the rest of the year long.
For sure. Like receiver-wise, Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley, these guys are looking like set it and forget it each week, I know Calvin Ridley is one of your draft season guys you really liked.
He was my 2019 Juju.
Yeah. So, and he's looking like he's coming out. He's really good. I think, like I said, if I have Calvin Ridley, I'm pretty much throwing him in my lineup. He's like the perfect number 2 receiver,
Yeah.
He offers that wide receiver 1 upside, but he's got such a safe floor. It's almost like a Robert Woods, almost like, it's just the consistency that he has.
I think what changed last year to this year, at least so far through 2 weeks, is he was a little bit boomer bust last year, but he was seeing only I think it was like a 14% target share. I did the math and I was looking at Juju's numbers and it was about the same. And I kind of was like, okay, like the talent, everything I'm reading, if that goes up to 18, 19% target share, Julio Jones doesn't need to lose anything at all. And he hasn't. And through the first 2 games, he's at a 19% target share. And what that does is just make him, like you just said, it makes his floor safe. So you're not boom or bust. It's more boom with, okay, he had an average game.
For sure. I think the biggest question for most people is Devontae Freeman, because these first 2 games, they've just been, I don't even know if he has 10 points combined, realistically.
I don't know if he does either.
But, I mean,
Devontae Freeman.
Yeah.
1 week he played against the Eagles, and like I said, they only given up 2.9 yards per carry. They're one of the best rushing defenses so far. Good front 7 there. And then week 1, I can't remember who they played, but it was another tough matchup.
Yeah, the Vikings.
The Vikings, yeah, there you go. Another good, tough matchup right here. So this matchup, the Colts, you can run on them. They're not, like, invincible, but, like, if Darius Leonard's not there, that's only going to help Devontae Freeman even more. You know, this is a game where if Leonard doesn't play and then Freeman goes out and he can't get it done, I'm definitely going to be on, like, level 10 of 10 panic alert with him, you know?
Yeah.
But if he goes out there and he has a good game, I might actually be trying to move him because, you know, say he goes out, he has a good game. Maybe like, oh, he's back. But next week after that, they play the Titans. We kind of just touched on them. You know, how that front 7, they're looking pretty stymie against the run. The Texans front 7, still pretty good. Cardinals, not bad. Rams, tough game. Seahawks, tough game. Saints, pretty tough game. Panthers, not that great. Buccaneers, low-key been better. Saints again. Panthers, no go. So it's like the schedule isn't the greatest for him going forward. So
Right.
if he has a decent game, I might be trying to sell high on him or moving him for someone, even if it's a lateral move. Maybe I can get it Montgomery, a Chris Carson. I don't know. Maybe Marlon Mack doesn't play. I can flip him for a Marlon Mack because the guy, he's hurt for this one game. But
I like it.
I like it. That's hot. That's what I like to call HAWT
stymie.
hot. It is
All right,
stymie.
Tight ends.
we got Hooper, the Poopa Scoopa.
Hoopa the poopa scoopa. Hey, brah, this is a thing. This fucker ain't gonna play him, brah. What do you think, brah?
I mean, he gets targets at the end of the day. He's a low end one. There's not a lot. I know last year we used to say, well, he gets this, and that, but he actually does see consistent target volume, and you can count on him for more than OJ Howard last week. He'll at least,
I'm playing him over like Ebron, Doyle, Jimmy Graham. Just kind of some guys off the top of my head right there.
I think he's still a low end one.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's like if you have him, you put him in there. It's a decent matchup for him. It's not like the Colts are elite against tight ends. And I mean, you kind of just roll with the punches with him. When he has that game where he gets you 6-7 catches, you're happy. When he has the 3-4, you kind of know you're getting that with him.
For sure. So jumping to this next matchup right here, we got the Raiders traveling to Minnesota with the Horn of Gondor that you always call it.
Yeah.
The Vikings are -9.
They have the horn at the stadium.
I know.
I want to go to the stadium just to
blow it. You think you got to be a Vikings fan for at least 5 minutes?
That's cool with me.
Oh,
I'm a Dalvin Cook fan.
Oh no, you're not.
Bet.
Okay,
I
you
didn't get
can
any
blow on the horn.
At one draft, he went right before me. He was like, "Motherfucker!" This is like literally, I was like a back end pick in every draft or in the back half of the round. So I was like, "Fucking bitch."
No, yeah, I didn't get him in anything either. So let's start on the Minnesota side of the ball. Minnesota playing in Minnesota. They're favored by 9 points.
I mean, Dalvin Cook, you're starting.
Kirk Cousins.
No,
Yeah, at this point,
he might be the quarterback 30.
he got.
He might get
money.
outscored by Sam Darnold, who has mono
and hasn't played.
The receivers are like the tough ones. It's like they're just not throwing the ball at all.
Yeah, they're. I think their throwing percentage is literally cut in half compared to last year.
To last year, let's look at it right now.
They're like, "Oh, Kirk, you're gonna blow the game here. Let me not let you throw it."
Let's see. Minnesota is throwing the ball 40% of the time compared to 64 last year. So
Yeah.
cut in half, like you said, basically pretty much.
Well, yeah, because I just know that they went from like
Yeah.
the Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen went from like 20 to 10 targets.
I mean, I don't think Oakland's a scary. Is it in Minnesota?
It's in Minnesota.
That makes me even less confident about some of the receivers. It's like I don't know if you bench these guys because it is a good matchup. And
That's why I'm in a predicament.
In
'cause
theory,
I got
but it's like
Stephon Diggs on the low in a couple leagues, but
But it's like, this is like what the Vikings want. They want to get up and they want to run the ball down your throat. So it's like, do they just do what they do? And Kirk Cousins only throws it like week 1, 14 times?
10
Right.
times. Do it 10 times.
Sorry, I gave him another half his pass attempts.
Yeah.
Is this a game where he only throws it 20 times, 22 times, and they just run Dalvin Cook and Madison gets some carries too?
Right.
And it's like, it kind of scares me a little bit.
yeah.
Like it's a tough call right there with those receivers. I think there's some guys I'd be going over them. I'm trying to think offhand, but
I mean, for me, I think Thielen, you're still starting him every week. Stat I came across just looking at some stuff. The Raiders allow the second most points to slot wide receivers. Obviously, Thielen, he lines up in the slot a bunch right there. I do think this game can get out of hand. Kind of just looking at some of the games, the lines and whatnot. This is actually one of my favorite games of the week, the Vikings -9, because I do think, I don't trust Derek Carr on the road. Tough environment, tough Vikings defense. I mean, you got Tyrell, and here's the thing too. You kind of just would touch on the Raiders side right here a little bit too. But the Raiders offense literally runs through Tyrell Williams, Darren Waller, and Josh Jacobs. Tyrell Williams kind of banged up. He's going to see probably Xavier Rhodes, in the shadow coverage, so that you kind of eliminate him out. And then Darren Waller, maybe he gets his. But Josh Jacobs, he's kind of got a little banged up. I think something with the groin or I don't even know, hammy. But then he got sick, and I think I don't know if you posted it, Mike, or someone, but he's saying he lost like 10 pounds.
Yeah. I talked about it on
He's
the
been
most
sick.
recent.
He lost 10 pounds in like a week.
And he has a groin injury.
And a groin injury.
Did you say that? I don't know.
Yeah. So he's not 100%. Tough Viking front seven. Like I said, the roads are closed for Tyrell this week with him being banged up. I think the Vikings get up ahead, and like you said, they run the ball a lot. Maybe they don't have to throw the ball more than 20 times. I like the Vikings -9 in this one. One of my favorite picks of the week.
yeah.
All right, so everybody take Raiders money line. Because Tyler Bennett.
Says the guy over here who put 110 on Miami money line.
Listen,
Jesus Christ,
listen.
dude.
I'm hedging my Survivor League. There's 30 people left in the Survivor League. I took the Patriots in the Survivor
So you're
League.
just gonna keep betting $100 on the other team every week?
Maybe.
His Survivor League, he only wins $100 if he's betting $100.
No, everybody put $100 in.
I know. I'm just giving you shit.
Yeah, dude, just be quiet and stuff.
I'm trying to look up some. Sorry, I'm trying to look up the receivers and see who's like around
$2,000.
them roughly, so I can because I think people are kind of. This might be a question like where some people aren't asking, but they're asking where it's like, shit, do I go with in their heads? Do I go with Adam Thielen or, I'll try and keep it to the guys we just go with. Kind of look at some of the games real quick. Eagles. Would you go with? We just talked on Nelson Aguilar. If you we're putting the two Vikings receivers against. Well, I'll just put out one player. Would you go with that? You can rank him. You can rank Aguilar in the middle, at the bottom, or the top. Would you go with Nelson Aguilar, Thielen, or Diggs? Who would be like your 1, 2, 3?
Probably Thielen. I want to put Aguilar in front of him, but it's so hard. So hard. But yeah, Thielen, Aguilar, Diggs.
I go Thielen, Aguilar, Diggs.
All right. I changed my mind because Tyler copied me. I want to go Diggs, Thielen, then Aguilar. Huh. What do you think about that, mister?
You're a piece of shit.
See, I might be the one in a PPR where this is, like I said, I don't want to get burnt. I'm in a PPR. I might actually start Aguilar over both of them.
I mean, I still think Thielen is the out of those two receivers. I still feel comfortable with him. Like I said, the Raiders, they give the second most points to slots. So if there's an opportunity for them to throw and get a slot, Kyle Rudolph is non-existent anymore. Diggs is on the outside. If there's a chance for them to throw a touchdown pass, I think Thielen has the highest probability of getting that touchdown.
Could it be Diggs, though? I mean, Diggs did have a touchdown called back. I think he might have had 2 touchdowns called back last week. And he was missed on a 50-yard wide-open bomb. It's just like I don't think there's enough passing volume to where it's. I think 1 week it's going to be Diggs, 1 week it's going to be Thielen. I don't like guessing on who it's going to be.
It's just these
It's
guys.
just like this is like a tough situation right now. We don't have like enough of what's going on, and they're running the ball like the most in the league. So it's just, do I want to take the chance that and their boom isn't even necessarily a boom because it's like, what is their upside in this offense right now? Like 101, I mean, Kirk Cousins isn't throwing for like his master. Like Thielen's not going to go for like 155 and 2 or Diggs. It's like The upside
You
is
sure?
kind of
She didn't say hold my beer.
starts. Okay, I have to change that. Thielen and Thielen. Fire up Thielen.
I mean, yeah, you're put in a situation with these guys. Like, I mean, I have Diggs in a league, and I've started in the past 2 weeks, and yeah, I've not been really that psyched on it.
Yeah.
Am I benching Diggs? Let me just look at what my.
So, okay, someone drafted later than these guys, John Brown or both these guys.
All right, John Brown. Well, John Brown over Diggs. Thielen, I'm still dialing up Thielen. I don't know. Him and Kirk Cousins, I feel like
It's just so hard to not.
See, I would go John Brown there, straight up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter standard or PPR.
Over Thielen.
I just think I don't want to play the game right now. That's kind of my thing. Time to play the game.
Yeah, I mean, you're put into a situation.
And Tyler could be right.
I have
It could be more
Stefan.
Thielen, but I just this week could have been a dig. It was technically minus all of the penalties and whole.
Would you play Stefan Diggs or Mike Williams?
Who did the
Probably
Chargers
Mike.
play?
Well,
If Mike Williams.
I'm biased because that's my man crush, Mike
Yeah.
Williams there, and he looked pretty good last week. We'll touch on him when we get to
Because
that
like
game
I'm just
a little
looking at guys I have. Like I have Mostert. Let's just say you're playing in a flex, Diggs. Mostert,
bit. Oh, you're
bench,
asking, so you're asking for a
Hawkinson,
friend?
Mike Williams. No, I'm just putting an example. Like I have Saquon, Chris Carson, Diggs. I have my
We're talking
my
about
wide receivers.
over here. He's just like, yeah, I got McCaffrey, Barkley, the Mahomes, and,
Kamara.
What kind of fucking team is that?
Zeke.
McCaffrey, Barkley, and Mahomes.
Justin.
This fool got three wide
kindergarten team that he plays in.
Yeah, he's like, all right, dog. So I got Pat Mahomes, Kelsey.
Bro, Gurley's on the waiver wire. Should I pick him up?
I'm like, yeah. He's like, wait, if I drop Gurley, I got to drop either McCaffrey or Elliott. It's like, bro, who the fuck is in your league?
Shit. But I'm just saying, like, I'm in a situation in this league. I have my 1-2 for my wide receivers right now is Mike Evans and Stephon Diggs, and both have been super underperforming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of, I mean, obviously I have pretty fucking solid running backs, but you know,
I think
puts you
I
in a
would still go
situation.
Diggs because I know he's. I still think Mike Williams isn't at 100%.
Yeah, he seems to be. Injured.
He's playing, but I don't think he's at 100% yet.
Yeah. I mean, I think he was full participant in the practices this week.
Yeah.
So
No, I know he's played, but it just seems like the way the targets, the looks, like he should be getting more looks and targets. And I don't know if it's because he's not. I don't want to say he's not an elite separator, but he's more of that big, like, contested catch type of guy, and maybe he's not getting that extra separation because he's not 100%. So, like I said, I'd probably lean towards Diggs just on the health side of it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna play Diggs. That one.
All right. So with that being said, Raiders side of the ball. I mean, like I said, you might have to be forced to start a Tyrell Williams, a Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, but this is not a good matchup for those guys. Actually, Tyrell Williams, if you have the depth, I'd be fading him.
Are you picking up Jalen Richard just in case? If you have Josh Jacobs.
If he doesn't play, then I think that'll be a committee between him and Dwayne. I think it's Dwayne Washington.
Yeah.
Dwayne Washington. I think that'll be a committee guy. Both can catch the ball. Jalen Richard obviously is the better pass catcher. I just think this is not going to be a good game for the Raiders here. I think, like I said, the -9 Vikings. I think the Vikings win this game easily
Yeah, I think Waller's the only guy you're really starting. Tyrell,
with confidence. Yeah.
he's not, he hasn't really practiced. I don't even know if he's gonna be out there.
Yeah, he might not even practice. So.
And
might
like
not even play.
I think he could on a healthy slate beat Rhodes on occasion. You know, Rhodes isn't. It's been a year and a half now where he hasn't played like he used to.
Yeah, but he's hurt last year.
Well, no, what I'm saying too to that extent too is Tyrell's not 100%.
Oh.
I think at 100% he's able to maybe get 5-6 catches. At 70%, Rhodes is good enough to basically shut him down.
Yeah. So with that being said, you mean Vikings defense? This is a good defense to stream this week or play if you have them. Dial them up. Raiders defense definitely not. Next game, with kind of trying to go through some quick. You got the Jets. They're gonna play New England. The Patriots are -22. It's a 40.
Is that enough?
43.5
And
point over under.
Are you still taking the Patriots at that
Yes.
spread? With third string quarterback? I
Yes.
think you are going to as well. I think if it was Sam Darnold, it would be different, but
I mean, for the Jets side of the ball here, you're starting Le'Veon Bell, and I think that's about it.
That's it.
I mean, Robbie Anderson, he's probably the most productive wide receiver there, but he's going to see Stephon Gilmore in his shadow coverage with a third-string quarterback. I mean, I guess all it takes is one in a game where they should be chasing, but I wouldn't be surprised if Le'Veon Bell had 12, 15 catches this game, quick little dump-offs.
Yeah, I'm not certain any Jets outside of Bell.
The Patriots side of the ball here. I mean, would you start Tom Brady with this being minus 22, or is this more of like a Michelle Burkhead kind of game?
I still start Brady.
Start
I mean, they'll minus 22 might be the first half.
That's true.
It's just like, I mean, look what he did against Miami. He still was like, how many touchdowns? What do you have against Miami? 300 plus, probably 3.
Fuck ton.
AB's out there and he's not suspended over the next 2 days. You know, I think they're gonna do the same thing. They're gonna make it a point to get in the ball. I mean, he's gonna throw his touchdowns. He's gonna get at least 2. He might even get 3 or 4 in this game, depending on where the ball lands inside the 5.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it just seems like.
So AB, you're dialing him up. What about Josh Gordon and Julian Edelman though?
It's kind of tough with those two. I'm definitely not starting. Maybe I don't want to say definitely starting, but I don't know. Edelman, if AB is there, Edelman really worries me.
Yeah.
I think people drafted him to be more of their PPR kind of wide receiver too than they did Josh Gordon. I think people took him, 6th round.
Yeah.
Kind of hoping he plays. Wasn't you drafted him in 3rd, 4th round like Edelman, but I'm a little worried about Edelman if AB stays the whole year.
Wait, what's wrong with Josh Jacobs really fast?
He's got. I think it's.
He's
Dude,
down.
you got to get better at this, bro. It's like,
Sorry.
hey, so 3 episodes ago, that one guy, what was it?
Hey, remember we were talking about Frank the Tank?
Mike, why are you so fucking stupid? Oh my god. Anyways, I think the whole AB thing, I think it affects Edelman from a PPR standpoint. I mean, he's never been a high touchdown guy. So now if he's losing 2 to 3 catches a game, plus those yardage, it kind of limits his ceiling, PPR wise. And then I think it affects Josh Gordon like a touchdown wise. I still think Josh Gordon gets his 3 to 4 or 5 catches, whatever, in the yardage. There's still no Gronk there. Last week, Xavier Howard was on Josh Gordon for most of the game, and if you don't know, Xavier Howard is one of the best lockdown corners in the league. So, you shut him out, and then they didn't really need to throw the ball that much either. So, I think the better days are ahead for Josh Gordon for sure.
Yeah, I think if I had to lean one of those two, I would go Gordon just based off of the big playability.
Compared to Edelman.
Yeah.
Yeah. The running back situation, this is where it gets tricky right here. So you got Michelle. He's seeing the volume, but he's not being very productive with it. I think I had a stat here where he's just not running the ball good. So, it's a crazy stat right here. So through the first 2 weeks, he's forced 0 missed tackles, which it's hard to believe that you're a running back and you can't get one person to miss you. And then he's only averaging 1.7 yards after first contact. That's the 3rd worst in the NFL. And then obviously receiving.
He had to play Miami the first week, so you got to think about that.
Yeah, but only 1.7 yards after first contact.
I'm joking.
No, your point of him saying he played Miami was even then when he's getting hit, he's not being productive with it.
Right.
I know you're trying to say Miami sucks, so he's not getting hit, but even then he's still getting tackled.
Should have been higher.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Made his stat better.
Yeah.
I'm still starting him. He's going to get the ball 20 plus times. I'm not benching him. He should have had 2 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, and then Tom Brady snaked the one.
Yeah.
What about Burkhead or White here? I still think Burkhead. I think Burkhead, in my opinion, has catapulted James White as kind of like that second back. I mean, targets wise, you got James White has 11 total targets so far through 2 games. Burkhead has 10.
I feel like Burkhead has a safer floor out of the two because he gets more rushing work than James. James White they get similar passing work. For some reason, they use James White in the red zone too a lot. It's like hard to whoever scores out of those two basically is gonna have the better game. But I think you're gonna get a safer floor with Burkhead if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like if James White gets the rushing, like he got the passing touchdown last week, so he had a better game. But it's like, Burkhead sees more rushing volume, and on top of that, he sees a similar passing role. So it's just kind of who scores that week, who has the better week. But like I said, I think Burkhead has a safer floor due to similar targets, but maybe 7 or 8 more carries on the ground.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about Burkhead, but something's drawn me to him, and I don't know. Just like I said, I think it's because when he goes out there, people would think, here's a White running back. They're not expecting anything, but then he'll run it, and then he's versatile. James White doesn't run the ball. He's the pass catcher. Sonny Michel runs the ball, but he's not the pass catcher. And then you got Burkhead, who is like the hybrid baby of the two, where he does both. Yeah. And I feel like he still gets a ton of play.
And he's a white boy.
Yeah.
McCaffrey does it too. Look at this white boy.
Yeah.
He ain't get no run. But yeah, I think I lean Burkhead. I think it's like I said, out of those two, if I had to pick one.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Steven Gostowski missed 2 extra points last week,
Oh,
or 2 field goals.
Did he really?
Dude, yeah, we were fucking dying. This is like the highlight of the Dolphins game. This is how bad we are. This is the highlight of the Dolphins game. So it's like 5 minutes before the second half or first half's over, and they score a touchdown, and we call a timeout before the extra point. And the announcer's like, "Did the Dolphins just call a timeout to ice the kicker on an extra point attempt?" And we were like, "What the fuck are they doing?" And then he misses the extra point.
Nice.
It worked.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, and they iced him."
It's the little things for the Dolphin fans.
That was literally the best part of the game. That tells you how bad we are.
The Dolphins accidentally ice it, and it works. That's
He was
pretty funny.
like, "You're calling the referee's like, you're calling timeout or an extra point." He's like, "I just fucking need a minute right now." Like, you sure about that? Just give me a minute.
He's like, dude, I left my Coke in the car. I gotta go fucking get it. Jesus. How do you guys? I feel.
Patriots D, fire them up.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, back-to-back weeks. They could be.
If you
the
need a
number one.
defense, what you do is start looking a week in advance and look who plays the Dolphins and Jets.
Yeah, honestly, I've been
and
doing
grab
that,
them, 'cause
and
I grabbed the Chargers already.
Me
because they
too.
play Miami next week.
and I think a couple people have been doing that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Dolphins are on bye week 5, so
I think
yeah.
Jets might be on a bye next week.
yeah, so you can't. You can only fall out so far.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get a defense for week 6?
I think Michael did it one. He's like, grab the Redskins. We play the Redskins in week 6.
I looked at that.
Bro,
and I
they
was-
can win you weeks. Like last week, if you're the Patriots, bro, you like smacked.
Oh, I know. I mean, I lost by like 40 points, and 37 of them was a Patriots defense. Like, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
mean, it really can't. Like after you watch the Patriots get 37, they got fucking 2 touchdowns, like 4 interceptions. I mean, that shit adds up.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Cowboys D this
chase
week.
that. You know what I'm saying? Cowboys D fucking light it up this week. What was I gonna say? Do you guys want to talk about the Antonio Brown thing? I guess we could talk about it on the beginning of the next one.
Well,
I think we should talk about it since in the beginning of the episode. Anyways, we're gonna close it off here. Thank you for listening.
Close off here.
We're gonna take our clothes off here. Thank you for listening. This has been the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast, Season 2, Episode 20, matchups for Week 3 of the NFL regular season. It's been amazing so far. How are you guys doing in your leagues really quick before we end it?
2-0, 2-0, 1-1, 1-1, 0-2.
You just want to brag?
No, because I mean, no. I did. Remember, I said last week, dude. After I did
Yeah.
bad,
So what's one thing you've learned? You're like that. I'm pretty fucking good at this.
that was after week 2. First of all, after week 1, I said we should write down all of how many wins we get over the season.
We could do
It'd
that.
be interesting.
For sure.
Because I'm at like a 75% win percentage, but it would probably go down if I had to guess. But yeah. So this has been the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. Thank you for listening. Give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts app if you could. 5 stars, please. Leave us a review. That'd be amazing. Check us out on Instagram. Ask us any questions you want. We do keep getting way more people asking us stuff, lineups, who they should pick up on waiver. We're pretty good at responding. That's Average Bros _fantasy football on Instagram. Twitter. We mostly use Twitter. I'm mostly on it, and I just kind of write stuff when games are going on. Like I was kind of screaming at Marcus Mariota. I tagged him a couple times, yelling at him. So I guess it's kind of funny. That's at Average Bros FFP. Follow us there. All these links are in the description down below. Whether it's the podcast app or on YouTube, you can see our faces. That link is down there as well. Thank you for listening. This is the Average Bros, and we are out.
Do you have any sponsors?
We do, but it's a long story. I'll tell you off air.
Oh. Okay. I'm trying to do these faster.